Once upon a time, in a village nestled between the whispering woods and the murmuring mountains, there lived a young girl named Elara. Her eyes sparkled like the stars that adorned the night sky. Elara lived with her father, a kind but weary man, whose spirit had been dulled by the hardships of life. Elara's mother had passed away when she was but a babe, leaving her father to raise her alone. He worked tirelessly in the fields from dawn until dusk, trying to scrape together enough to keep hunger at bay. Their cottage was modest, with walls that whispered of happier times and floors that creaked with the weight of sorrow. One day, as Elara was wandering through the woods, she stumbled upon an ancient gnarled tree. Its bark was etched with strange symbols that seemed to dance before her eyes. As she reached out to touch the tree, a voice as old as time itself spoke to her. "Child of the mortal realm," it said, "heed my words, for I am the guardian of the forest. Within me lies a treasure that can change your fate, but it is guarded by trials that will test your heart and soul." Elara, whose heart was as brave as it was pure, accepted the guardian's challenge without hesitation. She knew that this treasure could be the key to a better life for her and her father. The guardian's voice rumbled once more. "To find the treasure, you must first seek the mirror of truth, the rose of sorrow, and the cloak of shadows." Elara's quest began with the mirror of truth, hidden deep within the forest where the sun's rays seldom reached. She found it hanging from a tree, its surface as clear as the waters of the mountain spring. As she gazed into the mirror, it revealed not her reflection, but the truth of her heart's desires. It showed her a life of comfort and ease, free from the toil of the fields. But it also revealed the cost of such a life, a heart grown cold and indifferent to the suffering of others. With a heavy heart, Elara turned away from the mirror, understanding that true wealth lay not in gold and silver, but in kindness and compassion. She continued her journey and soon came upon the rose of sorrow. It bloomed alone in a clearing, its petals as red as blood. As she plucked the rose, its thorns pricked her finger, and a single drop of her blood fell upon the ground. The rose spoke in a voice as soft as a sigh. "To bear the sorrow of others is to know the depth of your own strength." Elara felt the pain of those around her, the struggles of her father, and the silent cries of the forest. She realized that sorrow was a part of life, but it was through understanding and sharing the pain of others that one could find true courage. With the rose in hand, Elara ventured forth to find the final treasure, the cloak of shadows. It lay at the heart of the woods, woven from the darkness that clung to the space between the stars. As she donned the cloak, shadows whispered of fears and doubts, tempting her to turn away from her quest and succumb to despair. But Elara, with the strength she'd gained from the mirror of truth and the rose of sorrow, cast aside the whispers. She embraced her fears, knowing that they were but a part of her, and that courage was not the absence of fear, but the resolve to face it. Triumphant, Elara returned to the ancient tree, her heart filled with newfound wisdom. The guardian, true to its word, revealed the treasure, a chest filled with seeds of the rarest fruits, grains, and flowers, capable of bringing prosperity to the land. Elara and her father planted the seeds, and in time their fields blossomed with abundance. They shared their bounty with the village, and once weary walls of their village echoed with laughter and joys once more. And so, Elara learned that the truest treasure was not one of gold, but the growth that comes from facing one's trials with a heart full of courage, compassion, and the willingness to share one's blessings with the world.